Shalom, shalom, Kabadi, Mambo. Welcome to Diaspora Connect. My name is Wanda, and today is Sunday, October 16th. Sunday? Anyway, I'm on the continent of Africa, Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, and I am coming to you live from the beautiful Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. I am doing a live video today entitled Single, Middle-Aged, and Dating in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. I hope you can hear me. Now, this is where I usually do my lives, but there are people here, so there is someone in the background. Let me see if I can turn my camera a little bit. This might work. Okay. Turning my camera a little bit. Okay. I turned the camera because there are people sitting behind me, as well as people sitting in front of me. So I had to move so I wouldn't have people in the video. So I'll do it this way. Okay. So I think I'm okay. I'm hoping that you can hear me, that my volume is up loud enough for you to hear me. Yeah. So anyway, this is Wanda. This is Diaspora Connect Tanzania. I am on the continent of Africa. I am in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. And thank you for tuning in. Thank you to all my faithful subscribers. Thank you to my new subscribers. I do appreciate your viewership. Thank you for taking the time to visit my channel and listen to what I have to say. Please thumbs up, like and share, subscribe to my channel so that my video could get into circulation for those who are around my age, middle age, and you're interested in how it is to travel the continent of Africa solo and to have been here 1 year and 3 months, and how I have been managing being a solo traveler, middle age, as well as dating in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. So, okay, perfect, Julie Sky, thank you. I'm talking a little lower, you guys, because you know how loud my volume can be. And there are other people out here on this. It's like a patio area of the cafe. So it is outside and it is an open area, but there are people around me talking. So I'm hoping that their volume will outshadow mine. Hopefully you'll be able to hear what I have to say. I am whispering though. I'm trying not to talk as loud as I normally do. I'm trying not to draw too much attention. Okay, welcome to Yayozi. Welcome to all my new subscribers. Thank you for tuning in. The subject today that I will be discussing live will be solo traveling, middle age, and dating in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. So, let's see, where to begin? I am single. I have been married before. I was married before for how many years? I think it was 13 or 16. 13 or 16. I think it was 16 years. 13, I can't even remember. But anyway, I was married before in the U.S. and then we divorced. And then I moved here to the continent 6 years after I divorced. So I was married for 13 years. And then I divorced 7 years ago. Was it 7 years ago? I divorced in 2011. And then I've been single since then. And my son, I have a son, he's 23. So he's grown. So I'm an empty nester. So I tried to get him to come, but he's still not persuaded to come to the continent of Africa because it's so different and something that he has never experienced, and he was nervous about leaving the U.S. So I'm praying that he will wake up to the truth about the U.S., Babylon, and come back home to the continent. So I'm praying for him, but he is a grown man. He is 24 years old. So, well, 23, almost 24. So, but shalom, shalom, Lizzie. Let's see. So, single. I did come to the continent alone, single, and I had no issues, no problems. I came by myself. I met a brother here that I was introduced to online by another brother in South Africa that I knew online. And he introduced me, he actually connected me with a Tanzanian brother who was in the truth, is what we call it, that who is awakened to who we really are as the chosen children or people of the Most High God, God, uncreated Yah, uncreated Father, uncreated everything. He created everything, but he's the uncreated. So he knew and was aware that we are the true children of the uncreated Most High Yah. And so he met me at the airport. He showed me around. He helped me with Swahili and teach healings, and it was really great. I didn't have any issues. So being single and traveling is not really that big of a issue, deal, problem. That's like, okay, 2 months. It's not really a big issue, deal, or problem because a lot of sisters, African American sisters, travel solo. Even when I went to Ghana in 2019, and I traveled alone. I connected with a travel group in the States, and it was mainly women. We met on the continent and we traveled together. So it's okay to travel solo. To me, it's almost like traveling domestically alone, but it's just that it's a longer flight. So it's a really long flight. It's usually divided into two different flights. So it's like a 12-hour, then a 6-hour, or based on you have layovers. So yeah, it's a long flight. But being single, solo, traveling the continent, it's okay, especially if you are melanated, African, Black, Hebrew, Bantu. It's cool. I mean, you look like everybody. Everybody looks like you. You really don't stand out. Nobody bothers you, harasses you, from my experience. Nobody bothers you. If anything, everybody's like really extra friendly to you, extra nice to you, especially when they find out that you're solo and you're alone and you're not with anyone. You get sometimes extra nice treatment, sometimes too extra nice. So you have to be aware of that as a single solo traveler, female. You have to be aware that there will be people being extra nice, especially men, extra nice and sweet and kind. So you have to make sure that you can decipher between the genuine niceness of wanting to help you, assist you to assimilate, and or the extra niceness of trying to take advantage of you or to lure you into a situation. So you just have to be aware of that when you travel as a single person. Yeah. So that has not been a problem for me traveling single or solo. Um, but the middle age part is the part I'm going to get into next, being middle aged and traveling solo. It's been a little difficult for me because I've always looked a lot younger than my age, always. So when I was in middle school, I looked like I was in elementary school. Elementary is like kindergarten to, I guess, like sixth grade, something like that. So I've always looked younger. So in elementary school, I look younger. Then in middle school, I think that's like sixth to eighth grade. I always looked like I was in elementary school. So I've always looked younger than my age. So in high school, I looked like I was in middle school. And so when I got to the college age, the 20ish, okay, when I got to around in my 20s, I always looked like a teenager. I've always looked like younger than my age. So, and on and on and on. When I got to in my 30s, I looked like I was in my 20s. When I got to my 30s, I looked like I was in my. When I got to my 30s, I looked like I was in my 20s. When I got to my 40s, I looked like I was in my 30s. When I got to my now, I look like I'm in maybe late 30s, early 40s. I think that's the youngest I get. Yeah. So I've always looked about 10 or so, 10 or 15 years younger than I really am. So that's why it's kind of difficult when people find out my age. It's hard for them to see me as that age because they're like, you look, and they always give me a number that's at least 10 or 15 years younger than I really am. So it is a blessing, and I'm not going to say it's a curse, it's a blessing. But the difficult part about being, and I am considered middle age, I think 40 and up, I think that's considered middle age, or 45 and up. So um, the thing I would say with being around that age range is that it's difficult if you are single in the dating arena because you always look, a lot younger, and then the people that will be attracted to you will be too young. So that is the main issue that I've been having here in terms of dating. As a middle-aged person, I always get men that are attracted or that try to speak with me or talk to me or show interest. They're normally too young. So I have to tell them that I have a son that is 23. And then that kind of gives them an idea of like around my age. But with us as women, we don't really tell our ages, but we can give some kind of indication of how old we are or what age we are. Many times people look at us and they can't tell by our skin or our hair or our build body wise or our size. For me, I am petite, so I always look younger than my age. Blessing to look. It is a blessing to look younger. That's why I'm not complaining, but it can be challenging when it comes to being single and dating because the age range for me that I can, go is, I would say, I would say maybe late 30s to late 50s. Late 30s to late 50s. That's a large, wide range right there. So, and you have a totally different mind uh, thinking. You have a totally different mindset thinking. The everything is like different. The difference in a 30 late 30 in between both. Okay, so it's a bit challenging. It's very flattering or very nice to have like younger guys, try to talk to you. Then you have the more mature guys. So it's like I get a range anywhere between late 30s to late 50s and sometimes older. But I normally don't really go for older, I would say over 50, because many of the, oh, it's a pretty bird down there on the ground. Many of the men or the brothers that are over 50 look very old and they appear very old. So if I'm with a brother that's 60 and older, many people think that I'm their daughter. They have no clue that I'm only 10 years younger than them. But they look at it like I'm their daughter, and then it's a me so far from experience is a little old for me, even though it's only a around me and somebody that's in their 60s. But that's my experience so far, especially here on the continent and even in the West, is that's just too old for me. They have to be 60 and really look young and really in shape. Many of the people my age, in my age range, I would say middle age, 45 and 55 or something like that, or 60. I would say maybe 45 between 60. I guess I don't know what the limit or the cutoff is for middle age. 60s could be middle age also, but most of the people that I know around my age they act old. I mean, I hate to say it, but they act old. They don't want to go anywhere. They don't want to do anything. The only thing they want to do is eat, sit around and eat. And so that's not enough for me. I like to do more. I'm very active. Want to do is eat, sit around and eat. And so that's not enough for me. I like to do more. I'm very active. I'm very outgoing. I like to swim. I like to mountain climb. Well, I haven't done it, but I put it this way: I'm active. Like I roller skate when I'm in the West, and I like to move around a lot. I like to travel and stuff like that. But a lot of times, people that are older, they are kind of settled or set in their ways or their routines, and they don't like to do a whole lot of different stuff. They don't like to go too far out of what they're accustomed to. So for me, that's a bit boring. So that's why I say the dating scene is a little challenging when you are middle age, especially if you look younger than that age. So, and then for me, being my age, I think 30 something is a bit young for me. Um, you can have some very mature 30-year-olds, I would say late 30s. But even then, when I talk to them, I can see that there's a generation there's a generational difference there in the mindset and then things I know and things that they know. They know a lot of things that I am not. Even with, for example, this YouTube stuff, like stuff is like a lot for me. I feel overwhelmed by it. But the younger people, 20s, 30s, they're on it and they're moving all around. All you got to do is do this and do that. And this how you get the song and download this app and do this. Y'all, for me, I feel overwhelmed when they just talking to me, telling me all these different apps and all this and do music and all you have to do is paste this and copy this and move this. Y'all, that's a bit much for me. I feel overwhelmed. I feel anxiety. I am willing to try. I am willing to attempt, but very slow. It's poly, y'all. It's very slow for me. I'm like, okay, like one step at a time, So that's kind of a difference in the versus somebody that's, you have the issues with the younger crew, and then you have the issues with the ones that's too old, don't want to do anything. So for me, I'm like right in the middle. I'm not as sharp as the 20, 30-year-olds as far as internet and technologies and all that. And then even making decisions. I think the younger people make decisions quicker. It doesn't take them longer to think about it, pray about it, meditate on it, blah, blah, blah. For me, it takes me a minute. Like if I want to make a decision about something, I got to pray about it. I got to have dinner over it. I got to talk to 2, 3 people about it. Then I got to wait for an answer from the uncreated creator. So it takes me a minute to make, even, especially when it comes to decisions for my life. I mean, because I'm at an age where I can't make a lot more mistakes. Like younger in your 20s, and the 20s you can make some mistakes, and then you have time to recover your life and your bad choice and all that. You got time to recover from that. But when you are 50, 40, late 40s or 40s or 50s or even late 30s, it's a little bit more challenging to make a bad decision that's going to affect you for 10 years or 20 years or impact you that long, and then it's going to take a minute to recover from it. So at my age, I don't want to make any more bad decisions that will cost me another 10, 20 years. I don't have time like that. I mean, younger, even though I feel like being on the continent has renewed my, I think I have a renewed sense of purpose or my life. I feel like my life is, I'm getting another second chance at life or something, because I feel so much younger and full of energy and vibrant. I felt that West, but I really feel that way here on the continent. And then I even look, my skin looks better here. I'm eating better, more of a plant-based diet. I'm eating healthier food, so my skin looks nicer. I'm in shape as it is. I'm kind of slim, so I'm not overweight or anything. So it's just, the food is just improving the natural quality that you already have as a melanated person. We have nice skin anyway. Most of us have nice physiques, whether we're slim or thick or whatever. Um, the most I see with the women from the West that we have to deal with when we come over, in terms of appearance, is weight wise. I hear some of them say I need to lose weight or whatever, but that's like the most, because whether they are slim or way more or even thicker or whatever, they still have like nice. The body's still nice. Like they have nice skin, they have curves. So it's not a lot that we really have to change when we come over to the continent of Africa, in terms of feeling better about ourselves and feeling like we have like a new lease on life. So that's kind of how I feel being here in the continent of Africa. I feel like I have like a new lease on life. Like I feel like I have a second chance to live again. I've made a couple of not good decisions in terms of marriage. Did not marry the best person for myself. I'm not saying that person was a bad person, but we just wasn't compatible. And when you make a decision like that at the age of 20, I think I was 25. I was 25. Yeah, I was 25 when I got married. So at 25, you may not make all the best decisions in terms of, especially when it comes to a spouse and relationships. I wasn't as spiritual as I am now, in that I could have prayed about it. I should have, did all that stuff you should do as like a spiritual person, consulting, the uncreated creator about, is this person for me? Should I marry this person? Da 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 da. Nah, I didn't do that. I kind of did like okay, he's nice, he's cool, he likes me, I like him, let's get married. It was kind of like that. But you can't make decisions like that. And even now at this age, the younger people, I feel like in the 20s and 30s, I feel like they know that they have a little bit of time. So yeah, let's make this decision, whether it works or not. If it doesn't work out, let's start all over from the drawing board. But when you're older and middle age, you don't have that kind of option. So the decisions that you make, you have to really pray about them, think about them. You be careful with life decisions, especially here on the continent, being in a foreign, well, when I say foreign, meaning a land that you were born in, so consider in every area, whether you're doing business, finances, anything that could really, those one small decisions can impact your decision about, or your plans. It can really impact your plans in a positive or negative way. So, considering the fact that I've been here on the continent of Africa a year and 3 months, um, I think I've been here so long because of the decisions that I've made in terms of finances, and just the financial decisions that I made, the business decisions I made. I really had to think through, really had to, you know, take a time to think through, pray about it, and make sure that financially I'm able to carry these certain things out, or do these realistically. But also at the same time, I did have faith in the uncreated creator to provide the finances, the connections, the resources for me as well. So you have to have the mature decision making along with the faith, the spiritual part to come together in making wise decisions. uh, on the continent of Africa, and especially if you want to repatriate, if you want to stay. Some people say we're expatriates and not repatriates. I say we're repatriates because I feel like the continent is our home. Yes, a lot of the continental Africans consider us as that. So, you have the two perspectives. You have the one person that considers one thing, and then you consider yourself another. So, I am more me is not as important as what I know about myself. and how I feel about myself. I guess living in the West, it taught me to depend on and trust in who I am and the truth about me, not trusting and believing what Missouri say about me or other nations say about me. They have told us a lot of lies, and so I'm at the point, or at the, I don't know if it's an age thing or what, but I'm at the point where I'm like, I don't care what other people think about me. I care or concerned about who I am and who I know I am and who I was created to be. And then actually what the uncreated creator, the most high, the most high God, what he thinks about me, what he says about me. I'm not so concerned about what other people think or say about me at this age. So that makes a difference in the decisions that you make as a middle-aged person. It's kind of different from the younger mindset, and a lot of them do feel like that, but it's kind of different because when you have been living longer, you have a little bit more experience with life, and you have a little bit more wisdom, not a whole lot that you're so much better than the younger people, because I think that the millennials, I think that the millennials are very, or Generation X, I guess 20, 30-year-olds are really good at young examples here on the continent. Like they are inspiring. They inspire a lot of the elder people here. So yeah, so I give props. I give props and credit to the younger generation, the 20 and 30-year-olds, because there's a lot of them here in Tanzania. But there are a lot of middle agers coming here and reaching out to me and interested in, visiting Tanzania and or repatriating to the country. Even if you're not a fit for this country, or this country is not a fit for you, there are 54 other countries that you can visit that may be a little bit more in tune with what you are looking for. So yeah. So anyway, that's my take on the middle age situation, being middle aged here, and just looking younger than I really am. So I do have to be mindful of dating younger age people, men. I would say, because I feel like late 30s is a bit young for me. I really say 40 something to late 50s is my perfect age range. 40 something to late 50s, because that age range is wide, but I fit like right in the center. Um, Age wise, energy wise, youthfulness wise, because I'm still very youthful and I have a lot of energy. So, if you if you are a brother and you're, you know, not in shape, not in good health, don't have no energy, then it's gonna be like the odd couple, because I'm like the opposite of that. So you have to, if you're older, you have to have a good health. I mean, I have good health. Like, I don't have any health issues, none. Never had any health. I don't know if it's because I'm slim or what. I don't know. But I've never had any health issues. So even at this age, I know people that are in their like 40s that have more health issues than I have. Like, I don't have any blood pressure, I don't have any issues, any health issues. I've always had a strong body, strong, healthy person. Never been like sickly, never had any issues. But I have had a couple of I had some dental issue things I had to have done, like partials and bridges, and I have had some dental work. That's like the most issues that I've had as far as my body is concerned. And I think that stemmed from growing up. For me, I lived in Newark, New Jersey, and the water, I found out later, the water was contaminated, just like freezing. And then with the fluoride in the water, I mean, we had all this stuff going on in New Jersey. So I was raised in an environment like that. And I know many people in the area that I lived in were getting like cancers and stuff, and they were dying from cancers. A lot of my family members died of cancer. So it could have been due to the water that we were drinking and the fluoride in the water, maybe, because we didn't drink bottled water growing up. We would drink out the faucet. And I noticed a lot of the elder people would die of cancer. A lot of my relatives, the older ones. And so even my mom passed away in 2012. She had cancer. So it's just a lot of that was in my family back then, living in that area. So I think it has something to do with the water and just the food. So, but when I got old enough to get away, I moved to Georgia, Atlanta. So, and I was able to, do some things on my own. And then eventually I moved to Colorado, and then eventually I moved here to Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. Yeah, so that's kind of like a quick snippet. But I'm going to get on the point of the dating here. Let's see. My experience in the dating scene here, it is for a middle-aged single woman from the West that come to Tanzania, in particular, Dar es Salaam, as a solo single person. The dating scene, let me see. I have not really dated since I've been here because I'm kind of strict in terms of who I date or who I'm interested in. I'm kind of trusting more in the uncreated creator, the Most High Yah, to bring the right person to me. I'm kind of waiting on that. Basically ever since I've been single, I've been waiting on that. But now that I'm on the continent, I'm still waiting on that. So for me, I meet brothers, from different places, from the diaspora, from Jamaica, from the UK, from different continental African countries. So I met some brothers from Kenya, and I went to Ghana. I met some brothers in Ghana and Tanzania. So let's see. I'm trying to think how to word this. Oh boy. So let me look at some of the comments real quick. Good morning, Lex. Okay, is that Sade? Yeah, hello, Sade. So, let me see. I have to be honest. I want to be honest with you guys. A challenge that many of us single diaspora females have been experiencing, and I say diaspora females, the ones from the West, all different ages, from the late 20s to my age and older, because it's a couple of single ladies here, is the language barrier. Of course, the language barrier is difficult in terms of dating a foreign speaking brother. So I would say someone from, example, Tanzania. In order for us to date a Tanzanian, he must know English. Okay, that's a fact. It's very difficult. It is extremely difficult to date someone that does not know your same language. That's extremely difficult. So you might be attracted to them. They may be attracted to you, but you can't talk. What you can do is look at each other. So how are you going to get to know one another if you can't communicate? So that's very difficult. So looks are not the only thing that's important when looking for a mate. Also, that's not the only thing. It's even if they know English, and they don't have to know it very well because little Swahili. So they don't have to know English so well. But the issue is they don't know our kind of like our culture, just like we don't know theirs, and we can learn it. But you have to have patience to be able to teach someone your culture. And sometimes you don't. It's difficult. It's just difficult. So, for example, if I date a brother from the West, if he says something about an old movie that we always reference, or Friday, the movie Friday, and he might say, "Bye, Felicia," and I would know what he was saying. Or he might say something, and I might finish the sentence. He might be like, I don't know. He might say, "You my ride or die," or something like that. I would know what he's saying. But see, with sayings like that, we both know we're from the same place, so we know we can finish the sentence basically. Just like when I say something, he might be able to finish the sentence, whether it's a movie, whether it's a artist, or a meal, anything like that. It's like you say one thing and then the diaspora brother can finish the sentence. It's like you guys are literally brothers and sisters in that we're all brothers and sisters from different, tribes and stuff, but we're Bantus, the ones that's Bantu, we're brothers and sisters with them too. So for me and a Tanzanian brother, it will be a different connection than for me and a brother from the diaspora from the West where I'm from. So we'll be kind of different. I think that me and the brother from the diaspora will have more in common than me and the continental African brother. We wouldn't have as much in common, but we can work through those things. So I'm not saying it's impossible, but you must have patience in the dating arena, because you know how in the West we can date each other and it still won't work. So for example, you have the 80 something percent of single parents family homes or something, or the divorce rate is 80 something percent amongst the blacks in the U.S. or something like that. It's a lot. So that's not perfect, because we're actually there with one another and we still don't get along. We still can't get it together. So we're open to meeting people outside of our nation, outside of not our nation, but outside of America and on the continent. We're open as so-called African Americans, Bantu, Hebrew women to meet men outside of the West. But it's an adjustment, just like it's an adjustment being here, living here on the continent, and me coming from the West. So there are culture shocks for me. There are adjustments for me, things I'm not used to. Same thing in the dating arena. What age you are, it doesn't matter if you're 20 something to 60 something or older or whatever. It's going to be the same kind of like issue of the communication piece. Being able to communicate, being able to flow together and finish each other's sentences, that might not happen. So you don't have to be all right with that part not being like that, but you can have other things in common. So I would say at least we need to be able to, the person with me or any other diaspora here on the continent, he'll have to at least be able to speak English. Not perfect English, but enough to effectively and efficiently communicate and get to know us in a relationship, marriage situation, dating situation. So that's been a difficult part for me, because I've met a lot of Tanzanian brothers, but when I see them and we communicate, we talk, and it's limited if we can't understand one another. So the relationship can only go so far if you can't understand one another. So little things you can't understand. So it won't really go so far in terms of developing into like a marriage situation. So it is very difficult. If the Tanzanian knows really good English, that's more of a chance that they could possibly date and or marry a woman, African woman from the diaspora somewhere. Whether it's, and even in the UK, even in the other countries where they speak different languages, if you're a diaspora, it's good if a person on the continent knows that language. What that we really know as the diaspora from America is English. And so Spanish and French is a language that we were learning, but many of us are not fluent in those other two. So I would say English is probably a language that you do have to learn or know, at least if you want to date someone that primarily speaks English, that their first language is English as a foreigner or as a African on the continent, especially continental African. It's best that you can speak the language. Yeah, so that's very, very important because it's all a part of communication, and everyone knows that when you are in a relationship, communication is the key. So, and a breakdown of communication can destroy a lot of relationships, and can, you know, just a lot of relationships can fall apart if the communication is not there. And the same thing being here as a foreigner in a land where people don't speak the same language. Communication is the key, and so it's important to work on that. So I'm not saying it's impossible, but I'm saying that if you're interested in someone, or if we're interested in someone that doesn't really speak English well, we must really work on trying to learn Swahili. We must really, as diaspora, work on learning. I'm working on learning Swahili anyway because I'm living here, but you have to really be dedicated to learn, especially if you plan on marrying a Swahili speaker, and vice versa. If the Tanzanian don't really, know English well, if you are planning on dating and or marrying an English-speaking African woman, then if that's their first language, then you're gonna have to work on trying to learn a little bit more English so you guys can communicate even in the intimate times when you're alone with them. You got to know what to say. You got to know what to say to each other, because to me, I feel like it could be a little weird and awkward if y'all don't know what to say to each other and you just kind of like sitting there looking at each other, kind of weird. So that's something yeah. So that's the challenge with dating here in Tanzania is language barrier. It's a very, 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 like number one, that's a number one concern is a language barrier, because there are many handsome, attractive continental African Tanzanian brothers that I've seen. Many of them look just like men from the US. They look so much alike. Y'all, they look just alike. But then when you try to talk to each other, there's no communication, there's no understanding each other. And so the understanding is, it got to be there. In my opinion, you have to be able to communicate, especially if you are getting married and you want to, have kids and you want to do businesses and all these different things. You have to be able to speak and communicate with one another effectively and efficiently in some kind of way. And so you can learn together. It's not impossible. But for me, at my age, y'all, let me look at some of these messages. Yeah, Julie Sky, it is very exciting to learn different cultures. But even if you learn the different cultures and all that, that's great. But you have to be able to compromise with these things, because you have some cultures too and they have some too. They have their culture and you have your cultural stuff going on too. So you have to be able to communicate enough for them to explain to you, this is what we do. This is what, communication is still important. And it is exciting to learn different cultural things. But when you're actually here and you're actually living here and actually talking to people, mingling with people, and even dating, it's easier said than new things and new languages, and be a little flexible. Yeah, so I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's been a challenge. And I just want to be honest that it has been a challenge to date out of your, to date a continental African that, they know that, you don't know the language, you're kind of like an outsider, kind of a foreigner, but you're coming back and you're willing to learn. But it takes a minute, especially in personal relationships like being a wife or husband and dating someone. So that's kind of what I have experienced and noticed. And I've talked to several diaspora, and they have also experienced this. It's exciting, but it's work. It's not easy. It's not easy, which no relationship is, because even in the West, it's not the easiest. In terms of us having relationships with even men from the diasporas, it's not the easiest either. But just have to have your mind open and willing to understand these things before you just jump into meeting someone here on the continent and saying, let's get married. You know what I mean? Trying to make sure that you understand their culture, and what you should and should not do as a female, because this is a patriarchal society, and we don't come from a society like that. So we come from a society that the women do a lot, and they do a lot